We know organisms have specific niches in a habitat. What is the role of organisms in ecosystems? Ecologists examine the relationships of organisms with the environment. They also examine relationships of organisms with each other. Ecologists also examine relationships from a broader perspective. A community is a group of interacting populations of different species in an area. When studying communities, both the dynamics and structure of the community are analyzed. An ecosystem is the space in which interactions take place between a community and the physical environment. Ecosystems can be very large or very small. We can examine the entire northern hemisphere as an ecosystem, or we can examine a small pond. Organisms can be classified into broad roles in ecosystems. The broadest of these categories are as producers and consumers. Producers convert inorganic molecules into organic molecules using photosynthesis. Producers use light energy to convert molecules into organic matter. Consumers use organic matter as a source of food. Producers include trees, flowers, grasses, ferns, mosses, and algae. Consumers include animals, fungi, and bacteria. Consumers can be broken down into smaller categories. Herbivores consume plants. They obtain their energy from producers who get their energy from the sun. The prefix herb means plant, so it makes sense that herbivores consume plants. Carnivores consume animals. The prefix carn means flesh, so carnivores are eating other animals. Omnivores consume both plants and animals. The prefix omni means all. Omnivores have a wide variety of sources for energy and nutrients. Detritivores eat decaying material and release nutrients. The prefix detra means wearing away. Detritivores are wearing away decaying material by consuming them and releasing their nutrients. Examples of herbivores include grasshoppers, elk, and rabbits. Wolves, spiders, dragonflies, and tigers are examples of carnivores. Examples of omnivores include humans, bears, and raccoons. Millipedes, fiddler crabs, and some earthworms are examples of detritivores. More classifications of organisms and ecosystems include scavengers, parasites, and decomposers. Scavengers are carnivores. Instead of killing the animals they consume animals that died by accident or illness. They also consume what is left over from animals killed by others. Parasites live in or on another living organism. They obtain their nourishment from that organism. Decomposers break down decaying matter and consume their nutrients. The difference between decomposers and detritivores is that decomposers break down decaying matter before consuming it. Detritivores consume the decaying matter before they consume the decaying matter in order to break it down. Coyotes, vultures, and blowflies are examples of scavengers. Examples of parasites are tapeworms, many bacteria, mistletoe, fleas, and ticks. Fungi, bacteria, some arthropods, and some worms are examples of decomposers. Consumers can also be divided by the order in which they consume other organisms. Primary consumers are herbivores. When eating plants, omnivores are also primary consumers. Primary consumers eat producers. Secondary consumers are carnivores. Omnivores are secondary consumers when they are eating meat. Secondary consumers eat animals. Consumers can also be labeled as tertiary or quaternary consumers as they move higher in the food chain. Organisms can be classified by the broad roles they play in an ecosystem.